Folks, I am doing this for my Crazy Tom Motivation page on Facebook. And what I wanted to do was do probably an ill-fated attempt at a collegiate commencement speech. I know there's so many guest speakers from all across the country that are giving pep talks to those who have just graduated college. I decided, you know what? Somebody was actually preparing for a graduation speech last night that I ran into. And I thought, you know what? Hey, if she can do it, let me give it a try. But I'll take it one step further and put it on YouTube. If you want more information on what I'm trying to do, or need a pep talk, or give you a lift, visit me at facebook.com/CZT Motivation. It's Crazy Tom Motivation. And here is my collegiate speech. To all my friends, members, everybody who is a part of the class of 2018, my first word to you obviously is congratulations. But the next two words will not be wear sunscreen. Now that was a while back. And the next two words are not going to be now what? For obvious reasons. Because you probably already know. Or do you? As your chapter of collegiate life finally closes, now the next door will open. But this time, though, the game has changed. Now, in the past, you chose the keys that led you to where you are at this point in time in your life. But now, you have to find the next key to unlock whatever you want to do in life. Whether it's professional, family, life partner related, or anything else, you, my friend, are now in the driver's seat. I begin by saying this. It took me until recently to figure something out that I could not believe has taken me like over 40 years where I heard it completely wrong. And while figuring this out, I also realized that my collegiate commencement has now become the halfway pillar of my life to this point. Yes, graduate with a music degree from 1995 at the forever I will call the place, Trenton State College, which, by the way, is the college in New Jersey now. But how did I get to here today? Well, I don't know, but here I am, and I'm grateful for that. What I figured out was it took me nearly 4 decades to understand what a voice from above was saying to Elmer Fudd. And this is courtesy of the 1944 Warner Brothers cartoon, The Old Gray Hair. In the very beginning of the cartoon, Elmer Fudd was crying, "I tried and I tried, but I still cannot catch that old wabbit." So he can't catch Bugs Bunny, but at that moment, a voice speaks out to him. And that voice took Elmer Fudd into the future. 1950, 1960, past 1970, 80, 90, and then came the line I never understood. When you hear the sound of the gong, it will be exactly 2018. But what I didn't know was that for 4 decades I was hearing the whole thing completely wrong. It wasn't this year, 2018. Rather, it was 2000 AD. Man, I must be losing my hearing. Like I said, I'm a music major, so what do you expect? But when Elmer Fudd wakes up in the dream, seeing that things have dramatically changed, he was stunned to see that he was all wrinkled. And then he grabs the paper and says, "Hey, what year is this? 2000 AD? Gracious, what's this?" And then he sees the newspaper headlines. Now, of course, during that time in 1944, Warner Brothers was putting out the inside joke about Bing Crosby's horse. So the first headline you see is, "Bing Crosby's horse hasn't come in yet?" Well, I researched it a little bit because I didn't know what he was talking about. And even though he was such a popular singer in Hollywood with that swooning voice, ba-ba-boom, 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 Bing Crosby was well known as a horse breeder whose horses seldom finished in the money, and the line, "Crosby's horse finally came in," was a popular gag line. And then came the headline, "Smell-O-Vision replaces television? Holy mackerel." Well, the subtitle for that caption stated that musical cartoon director Carl Stalling says, "It'll never work." Well, Carl, between you and me, I think in a way it has worked. You look at all the TV programming, which in my opinion absolutely reeks these days, that you've probably eventually led to people being knocked out silently with today's current selections. And now you know why we have Netflix, and we have YouTube, Dailymotion, Vimeo, B99. I mean, all those other outlets to go to. But yet I mention all this, and I have to say, this is where you come into the picture. The picture of life. The picture of your future. The picture where you now have the pen and paper to write your own story. You know, recently I saw a caption that said, if someone handed you a book, it was basically your installment of This Is Your Life, and you were told to read it from start to finish, written from the moment you were born to the moment that you pass away, would you read it? Well, immediately I answered to the person, absolutely not, because halfway through the first chapter, I would call for immediate revisions. And it's so true. Because when you think about it, this is your story. This is your history. This is your legacy. This is your journey where you have the opportunity to impact yourself and others along the way every single day. And there's only one thing you have to do every day, which is required. And the only thing you have to do is just wake up. As long as you wake up, you're being given the opportunity to impact yourself and even somebody else along the way. Sometimes those impacts can be lasting. They can be negative, they can be very positive, but then they may not leave an impact at all. But just know that you can't let things idly go by, because you do not reap any rewards in life without taking risks. You just have to be careful as to how you go about these risks. Let me take this back a little bit to when I was 8 years old. In 1980, Steve Winwood released a very powerful tune called While You See a Chance. I always tell people that if they ever were to visit the state of New Jersey, that if they wanted to come by and see me, to just let me know. And why do I say that? Because if you think about it, nobody, including myself, nobody's promised tomorrow. Why let that chance go by? Yet, many have chosen to pass it up. And yet, those are the people who are the ones that have to live with their decisions and how they react to them. So anytime a chance comes my way, I have to take it. Because there's no guarantee that will come up again. In reality, and in most cases, let's just say this. Like Eminem said in Lose Yourself, you only get one shot. Because opportunity comes once in a lifetime. Well, I'll read you the lyrics that Steve Winwood wrote in his song. Stand up in a clear blue morning until you see what can be. Alone in a cold day dawning. Are you still free? Can you be? When some cold tomorrow finds you, when some sad old dream reminds you how the endless road unwinds you. While you see a chance, take it. Find romance, fake it, because it's all on you. Don't you know by now, no one gives you anything? And don't you wonder how you keep on moving? One more day, your way. and that old gray wind is blowing, and there's nothing left worth knowing, and it's time you should be going. While you see a chance, take it. Find romance, fake it, because it's all on you. What this states is that you are the one in control now. You are the one responsible for your actions. You choose your fate based on a combination of your decisions, your actions, your words, and your attitude. You can't blame anyone else for what you decide to do. It's within you now. We already live in a society where financial and legal ramifications dominate the landscape. Yet, we've allowed this to happen over the years. And there's really no turning back. You may be wrongfully accused of saying something that was totally misinterpreted, and yet the chance of a relationship with a person or a corporation based on that little misinterpretation may just dissolve into the air and go totally down the drain. Understand one thing on what life is. Society is not meant to accommodate people who are dreamers like us. You know why? Well, I've always told people that the people who run our society today, well, they're the ones who decide on the audio and visual programming. They're the ones who decide what we should be doing, or how we should look, or how we should act. Whatever the case, all of it. You know what I have to say about those people? Those people are not only the biggest rule breakers, but they're also the most miserable people on the face of the earth. And that's why I am so against what they try and teach us to do. Well, you know, some will say the bigger the risk, the higher the reward. And more times than not, that chance will not go in your favor. Now, this may sound like a very strange comparison, and you may already feel like this. If not, I challenge you to compare yourself to the bipolar cartoon character Wile E. Coyote. Yes, Wile E. Coyote. Super genius. Yes, a super genius 1 minute and an implosive cliff dropper the next. I'm sure you've seen him falling off the cliff almost every single time in Roadrunner cartoons. But between scenes that you don't see, he climbs back up the cliff and tries again, only to have the same result happen. And he keeps trying and trying and trying, and he keeps falling and falling and falling, or something implodes right on him. But that tells you how resilient he is. Yet, knowing that this seems to be the end result of every chance he has to catch the Roadrunner, he falls down every single time. Now, why do I bring this up? If you think about it, isn't that what life is all about for us? We all feel like Wile E. Coyote when it comes to falling down, because all of us fall down from time to time. No exceptions. We all fall. If we didn't fall, we would be miserable. If we didn't fall, we wouldn't learn. Even the best of us with the kindest of hearts fall down sometimes. But as a society, we have to remember that as long as we move and breathe and get up, there's always a chance at some level of redemption. That chance will always exist as long as you're alive. But all it takes is just one break. And it makes what life is today. Life truly is what you make of it. Life is a game of chances. In the game of life, kind of paraphrasing from a Run DMC early rap, and I honestly, I don't even mean the board game either. Think of the game of life consisting of little games within the big picture. The games can be fun. The games can be dark. They can be very challenging, even very frustrating. They may be of invaluable experience, and some may be impossible to play. But in the end, you have to play the entire game until the game is done. And while this particular game of college life may be over for you, I can guarantee you the next big game for all of you is not too far away from starting, because none of you in the graduating class of 2018 are not even close to being done. You've only just begun. And this is why we have commencement. There's a difference between commencement and graduation. Graduation means you finish a level of your life and you accomplish it with some sort of various degree. Commencement basically is self-explanatory. It means you're starting a brand new chapter of your life. It's a new beginning. You go from student to alumni. You go from being taught to teaching the new and younger future generations that will follow you in the years to come. You teach based on your wisdom and experience. And this is where it gets a lot of fun, because no two experiences that individuals go through will ever be the same. Because if we were all the same, wouldn't life just be boring? Just think about it. But if I can share with you a word of advice, don't let the news squadrons of ABC and NBCBS/Fox dictate how you should think. In the end, it is up to you to determine and experience what the world is around you. Go break free and go to places you've never known. Never believe in what's being portrayed on the screen or anywhere in anti-social media. Experience it for yourself. There's virtual life and there is real life. The real life experiences will be your ultimate lessons. As I come close to finishing this speech, I want to share with you words from a tune that was written back, I think, in 2001 by an electronic group from the United Kingdom called Riva. And the tune is called Time is a Healer. I'll truncate it a little bit and share with you these words. Move on. Look to new horizons. Seek and you will find. Let go. You've been here for too long. Just follow the signs. Forgive. Does it really matter? Make a brand new start. Forget. Could be for the better. Just follow your heart. Time is the healer. Love is the stranger. Put the hurt behind you. Break the chains that bind you. Time is the healer. Life is the teacher. Put the hurt behind you and break the chains that bind you. One thing you have to understand as you live through life, there was a piece of advice I saw online, and it was given by a late executive director of a women's fraternity, which she held that position for nearly 30 years until her passing of ovarian cancer in 2014. One of her statements was very to the point. The other I'll truncate it because I think it matters to all of us. The first thing she said was, no matter what you do in life and what you decide to do and how you should act, do the right thing for the right reason all the time. And that second statement, which I cut out a good amount but kept the last part, I think applies to all of us, including myself. And that statement is to all of you: never be surprised when greatness is expected of you. This organization I've been a fan of for nearly 25 years, dating back to my days at Trenton State College, which is now the college in New Jersey, where they have a local chapter. The people who are watching my video could probably figure out who that is. But just remember one thing, through the trials and tribulations, through the successes and through the failures, no matter how life turns out for you, always remember this. Time is the healer and life is the teacher. And all you have to be through the entire time is be who you are. Doesn't matter how you look, doesn't matter what you do, doesn't matter how you act. Just be who you are. Be you. Because as you grow, you'll understand that is the thing you will be an expert at the most in your entire life in comparison to anything else you try and do. You could be an expert on any and everything else, and you could master pretty much anything on the planet. However, you will master at being you before you come close to mastering anything else. So regardless of your size, your stature, your financial situation, your personality, just be who you are, and don't ever, ever, ever allow anyone to tell you differently as to how you should be or how you should act. Because only you, in the end, know that, and you're the one that's pushing the buttons. Just remember, no matter what you do in life, you want to leave a mark. You want to leave a history, a unique legacy, a paw print, if you don't mind. Of course, back at home, my wife and I lost one of our cats back in April. But she left a paw print on our hearts, on our lives. It's your turn to leave yours while you're breathing. Just make a trail. Don't worry about following other people's paths because you'll never find your way out of there. Create your own path. Go down the road not taken. Be yourself. Establish who you are. And be proud of who you are first. And accept yourself before people can accept you. You can't control people accepting you, but you can control accepting yourself. When commencement finishes for you and all the celebrations and parties are over, just take whatever time you need, however long it may be, but don't take too long. And just be ready to make that leap of faith. Take that jump. Make that move. More importantly, always be ready for your next decision. I have to finish by saying, don't plan your life. Because if you plan your life like a SpongeBob house party, nothing will ever go as planned. Because that's when life throws you every detour that it possibly can. And as I said, things do happen for a reason. But have an idea as to what you're aiming for. The degrees that you're getting, maybe 20 years from now, suddenly you're into something else. You never know. But you have that network within your university, within your college. Use it. Connect. You don't need social media to connect to everything. That's where the real life experience comes in. So all I have to say to you guys is, what are you waiting for? So from myself, Crazy Tom, I give you my blessings and the blessings of whatever creator that you might believe. And I say to you, congratulations once again. Wishing you all the best. This year's class of 2018. Do me one favor though. Don't lose your hearing or your sanity while you're at it. That comes later. Thank you.